What is going on YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Now today is a day we're going to be moving the Snakehead from this tank here into his own 3-foot tank we've got here, which I set up on the last video. And also I've been out to the shop today, as always on a weekend, and I've got some new plants and bits to add into his aquarium before we add him. So let me show you which I just picked up. So these are the plants we've got today. Obviously got myself some more Anubias. I love Anubias, I'm a massive fan of it. It's such an easy plant to grow and it just does well on all aquariums. And then we've got some of this stuff here called Fluval, something like that it's called. So I don't know how to pronounce it. But the guy in the shop said this is really easy to grow as well, and it sort of does the same thing Anubias does. You sort of stick it to bits of wood or rocks, something like that. I normally stick my Anubias to wood, so I've got plenty of bits of wood I can stick this stuff to as well. So, and it sort of goes all bushy. That's what the guy in the shop was saying. I've got myself another bit as well there. And also we've got this plant here, which I can't remember the name of, but it's a floating plant, and I just thought the Snakehead likes to have a bit of cover. So with the tank here, I'm going to put this sort of floating plant obviously at the top because it's going to float. This stuff here, the Snakehead has sort of rummaged in and he's sort of settled in really well with the floating plants I've got in here. These aren't actually floating plants, they are planted plants, but I've just thrown them in the tank for now. But yes, what I'm basically going to do, we've got a nice bit of empty wood there, which I'm going to stick all these plants to. And we've got another bit of wood here, which has got one bit of Anubias on, so I'll probably plant something onto that as well. So let's get these bits of wood out, plant the plants on top of it, and then we're ready for the Snakehead. So all I basically do when I'm planting plants to wood, well, sticking plants to wood, is obviously we've got a bit of Anubias here. What we need to do is get the Anubias out of this pot, be as gentle as you can. And now you've got all this sort of spongy stuff, this foamy stuff put around here. So you need to sort of rip all this off, but be really careful. You just want to expose the roots. Now obviously do this on a towel because this stuff soaks up so much water. Look, check this out. So much water's in there. So do it on a towel, and then everything sort of gets absorbed by the towel instead of going all over your floor, especially if you're doing it in your house. Okay, so that's that one done. So you can see I've got the roots out best I can. You can go to town if you want to get all the finest tiny little bits off here, but I don't really need to. And now basically what I'm going to do, I've got my super glue from my van. It's just a sodal stuff, it's really good. I use it at work sticking trims on windows and things like that. So you're going to get yourself your bit of wood. You're going to find a really cool place to put it. You could put it there, you could do it here, it's entirely up to you. Obviously all wood's going to be different sizes and stuff, so I'm probably going to stick it here somewhere like that, and then I'm going to put another bit of Anubias on the other bit of wood, and then these plants here which I can't pronounce, I'm going to stick one here, maybe one around the back here, because these ones here go into sort of a bush. So let's stick this on and I'll show you. Now using quite a fair bit of glue, obviously some of it will drip onto the floor. So again, put a dirty old towel down, and then basically just press the roots into the glue. You can put more on if you want to, but what the glue will do, once it sort of goes off, it will sort of react with the wet wood. You can do it with dry wood as well, but obviously this wood, if it was dry, it wouldn't sink, it would just sort of float, and that would do it absolute head in. But there you go, that is stuck onto the wood. Alright, obviously be a bit careful with it because the roots haven't fully planted onto the wood yet, but they will eventually. They will sort of branch out. You'll see in a couple of months the roots will be all over this wood, completely covering it, and obviously it won't need the glue then to hold the plant onto the wood. But while I'm on the camera, let's do one of these, because I haven't actually used this plant before and I'm really excited to get this stuck on the wood. So let's have a look at this as well. So that is this stuff exposed. Let me try and pronounce it again for you. It's called Fluval, something like that it's called. So let me show you what it actually looks like. So that is the plant there. I don't know if that's focusing, but it's from Tropica, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this grow. And it's easy as well, which I like, because obviously I am not running any CO2 in any of my aquariums. So I'm going to plant that on there, something like that. You can, like I said earlier, you can do what you like with it. You can put it down here, you can put it where you like, so it's entirely up to you. But I think that'll look pretty cool there somewhere. So again, let's get some glue. But have you seen that Anubias now, how solid that is? So the glue's fully gone off, and that's it. That's that other bit stuck to the wood as well. So it's just normal super glue I've got out of my van, but you can get it from anywhere. You can get it from Builders Merchants, you get it from B&Q, places like that. A little pot like that will probably last you a while, but obviously make sure you keep the nib nice and clean at the top here, because once it goes off on top, you have to get a Stanley blade and start cutting bits of the glue off, and then the more you cut off, obviously the nozzle will go bigger and bigger, and it'd be a nightmare to stick stuff on because it just go absolutely everywhere. But you will get super glue all over your nails, but don't worry about it. I do it all the time at work, and it obviously just washes off. But do not get this stuff in your eye, whatever you do. I've done it a few times. It really stings. It hasn't affected me before, but it could really harm your eyes, so be really careful. So don't sort of rub your face and stuff. If you're really that worried, obviously go and wash your hands, but I'm not bothered because I use it every day. But here's the other one of these plants. I'm going to stick here somewhere, and I think that's going to look really cool, that bit of wood. I was going to do it symmetrical. I was going to stick this one here and that one there, and then the Anubis in the middle, but I don't like things to look that symmetrical in tanks because then it looks a bit more natural. We've actually got ourselves a tiny little bit here which has come off here as well, so I'm going to stick that around here, and we're going to actually get a third plant out of this. And if you really want to, you could start stripping this down massively and get loads and loads of plants out of it, but I'm not really in the mood for doing that right now. I just want to get this stuff ready for the snakehead in his aquarium. So that is that bit of wood done. How cool does that look? So we've got the Anubis there, we've got the plant which I can't pronounce there, and there's actually a tiny little bit around this side here which I pulled off this middle plant. But give this a month or so and honestly this will look completely different. But yeah, really happy with the outcome. But if any of you out there are keeping monster fish, this is a massively easy thing to do, you know. Get yourself some bits of wood like this, make sure they're sunk in tanks, and then if you ever want to move the wood, the plants and the wood, you just pull it out and put it in another tank. So I can just go and put this in this tank now. A couple of months later I can put it in a bigger tank. I can do it lightweight, which is good. Plants on wood is a massively good thing for me because you can just move them as you like, when you like. But that is that done. I'm going to glue this other bit of Anubis onto the wood there, and then we can get the snakehead and put it in the tank. So that is the plant added onto the wood, into the tank. So there's the Anubis which we just added, the big bit. There's the other Anubis. There's the other plants. You can see the white, that's the super glue which I put way too much on. But honestly it will disappear in a couple of weeks or so, especially once the plants outgrow all over the wood, it completely go. And the roots are obviously going to expand all over the wood, so it won't be too bad. But this Anubis here, I did realise some of the leaves on it are pretty badly damaged. I don't know why. They put sort of like a burn on it. It's probably happened from the shop, but they should start to heal up now I've put them in the tank. It should look like this one here. But that is all done, and I've added the floating plant. I can't remember the name of that either, but that's in there ready to go. So the snakehead will have some cover once he's in there. Obviously it's got to grow a lot more than that. But now what we basically need to do is get the net and net this guy and put him in his new tank. I literally cannot wait to see this guy in this tank, honestly. And I'm going to turn, obviously going to turn the temperature down, because the temperature right now in this tank is 24.5. In this tank I think it's 25.5. So these snakeheads do need a cooler temperature throughout the winter, so I can start slowly lowering this temperature down for him. Then obviously in the spring I'll start bringing it back up slowly. So let's get this done, get the fish in the tank. So the snakehead's in his tank. He is just at the back over there. So I'm really excited to see how well he's going to do in this tank. Obviously he's come from this tank here which is probably half the size in volume. So eventually he will be going into a 6-foot tank, because this tank is not big enough for him. So I'm hoping to keep him in here to 6 months to a year or so, sort of grow him up and hopefully get him a pair. It might be a him right now, it might be a she, I don't really know. But let's come back out in a few hours and see how well he settled into this tank. Right guys, so it's been over a week now since we've added the snakehead to this tank. I have adjusted its temperature. It's gone down to 22.5 now. I'm sort of slowly bringing it down. I'm probably going to bring it down to about 18 until the spring, and then start bringing it back up. But I haven't kept a fish so shy as this snakehead. He is just under that bit of wood there. I don't know if you can see that. I've got a bit of a smear on the glass there from inside. But he's just under the wood there. I'm really trying to get this fish to come out a bit more. I've dimmed his light, so let me just turn the lights off in here. I'll show you how dim his light is. So it's quite dim compared to sort of well, these ain't actually fully on yet, but this is how bright this tank is for about 6 hours a day. But I don't know what else to really do to try and get him out. Maybe I need to get him a mate in there with him. Maybe he's a bit lonely. He is feeding. I'm putting pellets in there. He's eating the pellets. He had a chew on a bit of mussel the other night. But I had to stand over by this door and turn the light off behind me to make him eat. He won't sort of eat in front of me, so he's very shy at the moment. I do want to get him out sort of swimming like an arowana, you know, because it's so nice to see you fish up and about and tearing about. So I do want to get him like that, but I don't know what else to try at the moment. But obviously he's only been in this tank a week. He hasn't fully settled in yet. But do I need to get him a mate so he settles in a bit more? I don't really know. I don't know what other fish you can sort of keep these snakeheads with, because obviously the water temperature is quite low compared to sort of normal tropical fish we keep, because these are subtropical. But I need to do a bit more research on that. But if any of you out there know what sort of fish I can keep with this snakehead, which will sort of liven them up a bit, let me know. Or if there's anything I can do to the tank. I haven't got massive amounts of flow in here. I've obviously got the 407 head blowing this way. I haven't got it blowing round the tank because I've read up about these guys and they don't like loads of flow. There's a little sponge filter in there which is just obviously got some bacteria on it, which is going up there, so it's not massive amounts of aeration in this tank. I've also read about their aeration, don't really like loads of it. They like kind of like sort of stagnantly water. And I've got a little floating plant here which is growing quite nicely, so that should grow out quite a fair bit throughout the tank. But I do want to get some other plants and hiding places in there. But like I said, if anyone out there knows what else I can do with this tank to try and get the snakehead out a bit more, much appreciate that. But he's doing fine. Like I say, I'm not worried because he's eating, but he just seems to sit at the bottom when I'm in this room. If I turn the light off here and give it a couple of minutes, let's see what happens. Let's see if he comes out and goes to the top. Okay, so I have literally just stood by that door for like 2 minutes and he hasn't moved whatsoever. He can probably still see me though. Look, there he is there. So yeah, I don't know what else to do, trying to get him out and try and get him used to me. But honestly, if anyone knows what to do to try and get him out a bit more, write in the comments below or message me on Instagram. I'm pretty live on there all the time. I do go on there quite a lot. So yeah, let me know, guys. But anyway, he's doing fine. I'm not worried, like I said. So that is the update done on the snakehead tank. Really pleased how well he's doing. Just obviously want to get him up more and sort of interacting, and then we can get some really cool photos of him as well. But anyway, guys, that is the video done for today. Thanks for watching. As always, like and subscribe to my channel, ding the notification bell, and keep it real, everyone.